Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we are looking at some more custom cards with a new set to do with Empower cards, which has had some rebalancing and reworking since a lot of people have seen this. So we're going to go over some of the new balance changes and just the cards themselves, because I haven't shown them on the channel yet. But as we can see, they've mentioned it's a re-upload because of having to change a few of the cards' effects. And we're looking at cards which will have the Aldmiri Dominion archetypes. So that's Agility, Willpower, and Intelligence. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with this. So, the first cards we have is the Pale Lady's Swarm, which will cause Nightfall, then summon two 1+ or 1/1 Wisps, and Empowering will give you an extra Wisp, which is really good for just some Swarm decks. Maybe something that has Divine Fervor down, just to buff them all down. And as they've said, it's based off the Wisp Mother of the same name. And obviously if you had Wisp Mother down, it would cause swarming of these Wisps. And as they mentioned, that the change has been done here has been putting Nightfall before the summoning of the Wisps. Because as Hazash has mentioned in this set, he has decided that when Nightfall happens now, it turns the field lane into the shadow lane as well. So you've got two shadow lanes. Meaning now that these Wisps will be getting cover either way, that whatever lane they go into, which I think adds the extra kind of bonus mechanic to this and makes it seem a lot more interesting than just summoning two Wisps. Something I will say as well that makes this card, I think, quite sensible is that Spirits don't have the most tech around training grounds. Don't have the most tech around training grounds. That's the word I was looking for. So that means that you won't be getting super buffs from these. You'd have to be waiting for Divine Fervor, which takes a bit longer to set up, and even then if it gets destroyed, they lose the buffs. So yeah, it's very cool, I think, the fact that you can kind of get a very kind of big swarm of weak cards, but they all have cover, which definitely adds a nice effect. Next we have Coercion, which steals an enemy creature with 1 health or less and shackles it, and power plus 1 health. So it's basically like a form of removal after you've done all your attacking and hitting the face. And as they've shown here, what they've changed it to be is that the creature now gets shackled rather than given guard, which I can completely understand, because if you steal something with a lot of power or even a ward or something like that, you could end up having some ridiculously strong guards, while now the card has to have guard beforehand, I'm assuming, just to be able to get this bonus. So it still has those moments where it does become very strong, but obviously you need to hit face enough times to get the health value to be high enough to even steal the card in the first place. But yeah, no, I think it's a cool card, and it means that you'd have to have a lot of like combos to stop it being shackled with other intelligence cards. But yeah, no, I think Coercion's a nice kind of addition to the willpower removal / get rid of things section. Next we have Boethiah's Calling, a 6-cost action which will sacrifice a creature to summon a random 1-cost creature from your deck. So this instantly here, you can kind of see, and Empower plus 1 cost. You can see here like how this could work with Wisps, for instance, that you've got 2 Wisps, you've now got something very weak to sacrifice to grab a card of whatever choice you want. And what I quite like about this is that you can kind of choose the value almost, so you can hit face as many times as you want, and then after that, you can kind of then go, okay, let's say I want this certain 3-cost card that I know is in my deck. I'll just hit face 2 times, and then I'll sacrifice it. Or maybe you might think, let's just go as big as we can and just keep on slamming face until you get to a certain value. As we see, it's based on the quest line of the same name, functions as an exotic but somewhat unreliable tutor card, because yeah, obviously, as I said, unless you've got 1 card in your deck of that value, it's not really going to happen. But yeah, no, it's a cool idea, definitely, for sure. And it was originally just going to draw the card, but then because it's a 6 cost, it does seem quite fair just to summon it, especially with how you'd have to hit face 5 times for it to get you a 6 cost card. So to get the actual value of the card itself, you need to be slamming into face a lot. So I think I can see this being a very nice card, as they've mentioned, good in Altar of Despair decks, or like other cheap tempo for like Ungolem's Brotherhood Assassin plays and stuff like that. Next we have Understone Justica, Yes, that name. Well, he's based off on... Oh, for fuck's sake. Based off on Dolomar. I don't say on Dolomar. There we go. Based off that champ. It's a 4-cost, 4/4 guard, which when summoned will permanently empower your actions. Which means that it's kind of based on that kind of late game strategy, which Mystic of the Ancient Rites have. And it's a nice card to see, to be honest, because it means that your actions and powers will basically just be a lot more consistent and stronger than when you awkwardly have to kind of watch them dip down again and again, and really does make it so these cards here can get to the higher values and start to really spook your opponent. But there aren't even that many Empower cards in the game, so I don't really see this being too crazy. And like what we've got, 1, 2, 3 actions being added in this set. So there's the very few in the game plus 3 more. It's not like it's going to be hitting anything too crazy. And it is an epic card itself, so definitely a fun card and fits into a lot of your Aldmiri's minion decks very well. Now finally we have Banished Nightingale, which does have a bit of an essay underneath, but there is a very good reason for it. So it's a 3-cost, 2/1 card, which when it attacks, it deals 1 damage point after another. So, for instance, as it's got 2 power, if it's going to hit face, it will hit once, then hit a second time. I'm not too sure how this works with if it just battles a unit. I'd assume it does its attacks first, and then your opponent's attack. I mean, obviously it'll be at the same time, but it's not going to be like deals 1 damage, gets hit, deals 1 damage. I think it'll be just kind of trade at the same time, but it might just have a cool aesthetic look. And it also has Pilfer, reveal a random card in your opponent's hand, which I think definitely makes this first bit of the effect completely fine, because realistically, even if it does get to a high power, there might just not be cards to reveal. But anyway, there is a reason we have this kind of card description underneath. So it's clearly based off Carlia from the Thieves Guild, and has a very cool design, the fact that it kind of hits multiple times and really does kind of fit in with how the Empower sort of style works as well, because this here will be giving Empower +2 instead of Empower +1, because it hits, then it hits again. But you know, as they say, most importantly, Thieves' Den with this card. From initially looking at it, you might see an issue, which would be it hits Thieves' Den, then buffs the card, and then it just has an infinite loop until you win, obviously. But as Hazash has mentioned here very cleverly, in how I think it would make sense for it to be that she's already committed to how much damage she's going to deal, and then gets the buffs afterwards. So with Thieves' Den, let's say she attacked face like this, and you've got 1's Thieves' Den down, it would gain +2/+2, but it wouldn't just keep on infinite looping, because it would gain the buffs after all the attacks had been done, if you know what I mean. So it's definitely a very interesting one, and as you can see, the synergy with Thieves' Den is something that you'd have to kind of watch out for, because it could cause the card to snowball. But then I think if you compare it to other cards, like some cards which have Pilfer, which are much higher values, they are just more expensive cards. So I don't like the idea of constantly saying every card should be more expensive, but no, I can see that being something that if like later down the line in the game it was too much of an issue, they could just make it a bit more expensive to stop it from completely snowballing every time and going completely mad. Because obviously it does mean with 1 Thieves' Den it will snowball that, as they've mentioned, it goes to a 4/3 and then it goes up to an 8/7, and then after that it becomes like what, a 16/15, and if you've got multiple Thieves' Den as well, it would kind of be really, really mad. And as I said, as a side note, I've always been on the opinion that Master of Thieves should be reworked, given the critical mass of strong Pilfer cards in the game. Yeah, no, I can sort of see that as well. Like, the thing is, there's a lot of cards in the game that might need just tweaking anyway, just to work around things. But as Hazash mentioned, they originally wanted this Pilfer ability to be gaining 1 Magicka, but it got changed to just revealing cards in the hand to stop it from being very mechanically busted and just being more of a tactical play, so you can kind of see what your opponent does. Almost like Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyway, that is the Empower set. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I think it's very cool, personally. But yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.